Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a little different. This is going to be my Q&A get to know me video, and I am very excited that you guys were interested in this because I have gotten a few requests before and you were very persistent about it. The few of you who requested this video, I was very reluctant because, not because I didn't want to talk about myself, but because I just didn't think that people would care. I'm very happy that you guys asked me questions and you sent me a few snaps that I haven't opened yet. I've been saving them until I was ready to film this video. But I'm very happy that you did because I wanted to connect with you. So I'm very excited. I'm going to do my best to get through your questions and answer them as best as I can, and not make this video like 5 hours long. So let's stop rambling and let's get started. So Madison asked me, if you had to choose just one mascara to use for the rest of your life, which one would it be? Hands down, Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. I have gotten so many of my friends to buy this mascara because it truly is, to me, I have, baby lashes that need a lot of buildup, and it truly is very comfortable. I have like sensitive eyes sometimes and they constantly are watering and all that stuff, and it's just really the most comfortable and effective mascara for my personal preference. So Benefit Roller Lash, love it. Chica Cubana, she asked, where are you from originally and how you balance your life as a mother, wife, makeup artist, blogger. She said, I consider you the best one. Thank you. Hobbies, time for you, etc, etc. So I am from Brazil, and I'm from Curitiba, which is south of Brazil. A lot of the times I don't feel like I am balanced whatsoever. The days are very hectic. I don't get a lot of sleep. I have an amazing husband, and he really does help, taking our son somewhere for a few hours so I can get a video in, or if he can't do it during the day, then I try to just suck it up and stay up late and do it after my son goes to bed. But that's basically how our life goes. Have any tips for putting lipstick and gloss on right? I still make mistakes, especially I made a huge mistake today putting this liquid lipstick. But my tip would be have your hand on something, like on a table or something that you can actually anchor your elbow, and you can just flick your wrist and not your entire arm. Do you know what I mean? So also have a little bit of your foundation or concealer handy in a very small, precise, flat concealer brush that you can, clean up the little edges and whatnot. For gloss, I would say don't go ham all over your lips. Like, start by dabbing in the middle and then kind of like blending outwards so it doesn't end up all over your face. So ask, how did you and Jimmy, my husband, how did you and Jimmy meet? How long have you been together? We have been together for 8 years, I think. We're not very good with dates, but I think 8 years. And we met through, just like mutual friends. When we were younger, we used to have a pretty crazy social life. Both of us, we were always like going out and, being very social. So we met at parties, and, we knew a lot of the same people, and we became friends for a little bit and then turned into something else. How did I get into modeling? And that is a very funny story. So back in Brazil, me and my mom, we were listening to the radio, and there was this promotion saying that the first caller will get a half-off coupon for this modeling school. And my mom was like, hey, if I win, would you go? And I was like, sure. She called and she won. I would go in the morning, and it was probably like, I want to say it was probably like an hour and a half away from my house. It was really far. I remember taking like a bunch of buses to get there. And it was so fun. Like, they actually taught me everything. Like, they would teach you how to eat properly and like how to set up the table properly and just like which utensils to use first. And like, they would teach you how to wear a little bit of makeup and do your own makeup and fix your own hair and things that were flattering on yourself. and how to walk, obviously how to pose, how to talk to people, how to shake their hands. Like, it was very, very interesting. And now that I think about it, I feel like I don't even know if I could, you know, do everything, if I could have done everything that I did without all of that. Like, I was so young, and at the time I just didn't think anything of it. But later on in my life, it kind of came full circle. Like, I remember using so many of those things in my life, and with doing the same stuff, you know, like meeting people and how to just act properly. And it was really cool. So that's how I started modeling. And after that, it was like a whole year of this school. And after we graduated, there was a huge party. I remember my parents brought me flowers, and I was like crying. It was really, really, like, really fun. And I felt like I grew up a little because I was just like this young lady. So after this whole year, then they had a modeling agency connected to this school. So it was kind of like a given. Like, they asked me like, hey, do you want to do some pictures? Do you want to start building up your portfolio and whatnot? And then I started doing like small magazines and things like that. But that's how I started. So Mila asked me, what's your best memory as a model? It's probably the first time I have ever seen myself on the billboard. And I remember that my parents drove me by this billboard, and it was on the side of the road, and we parked the car, and I just remember seeing my face so big, and I just kind of like, it was so surreal because I knew it was me. And my mom was like, it's you. Like, she was so, so excited and proud of me. And it wasn't even because of the billboard that I was so happy, but my mom, like, when I saw my mom being so excited about it, that made me so happy. Like, she was so happy for me, and she was just like proud. She was like just full, you know what I mean? Like, she was just proud. So that's probably my favorite memory as a model. She also asked, how did you take the decision that your cycle as a model was over? Well, after I had my son, it was kind of like, I wasn't one of those people who like snapped back and got my body back, and I still haven't got my body back from from before. So my agency said, like my agents at the time, they were like very understanding, and they said, take your time and whatnot. Whenever you're ready to come back, then you're ready to come back. So I guess I wasn't ready to come back. And then one day my booker called me in, and she's like, let me just talk to you and let's catch up and let me see you and whatever. And she didn't think I was ready and she told me that the industry became so like cutthroat that the girls were like, there was no way I could compete with those girls. They weren't like prettier than me per se, but it just like their bodies were like in shape, ready to go. They were available to travel. They were willing to go places. And for me, I wasn't willing to traveling anymore. And I wasn't going to leave my son, and to each their own. I am absolutely not judging anybody who does that. For me, it wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. After you do something for almost like 2 decades, like that's a lot, so I think it was just time. My agency was amazing, and I don't regret anything. They were awesome. They went about it in a good, in a nice way. And they said, look, there's a lot of people that want to be here and they're available. So we just gotta kind of have to like keep it moving. And I said, I understand that. I was very upset, obviously. That's what I did my whole life. So I cried a little bit and I said, okay, now it's over. Like I took a minute to let that sink in, and that was that. How becoming a mom changed your outlook on life? Well, it kind of changed everything. I think I'm much more fearful of life in general. I am constantly worried about my son. It's unbelievable. I can't even explain how crazy it is to be responsible for a little life. And that little life is just, it quickly becomes everything you have. It's insane. The world is crazy, and I'm scared that my son has to grow up in this world. And I want to make the best, you know, out of it for him. But a lot of it is out of my control, and I just hope I can raise him right, and I hope that he becomes a very responsible young man one day and doesn't do anything to harm him or anybody else. So that's just how crazy it just changes everything. Like before, I was much more carefree and I had control of my life. Now I feel like I have no control. He does rule my whole entire life, and that's okay, because I know it's not gonna last forever. But for now, it's crazy. But I wouldn't have it any other way. That's mom tip for a mom who's always in a rush, running around. Oof. Be okay with being a mess. I think that's not a very useful tip, but I think I've learned that I wanted to hang on to my ways so hardly and just like, no, because before I was a model, I had my nails done always, and my hair was always clean and pretty, and my legs were always waxed, and that kind of stuff. And now it's not anymore, and that's okay. Like, I just kind of have to accept it. So once you accept it, it's okay. It's not always going to be like that, because it's not my son's fault by no means, but he's small. He's little, so he requires a lot of helping and teaching and all that good stuff. So I'm sure when he's older, I'm gonna have more time for myself. So it's not always going to be like that. So be okay for now with being a mess, because it really is okay. If people are gonna judge you regardless. People used to judge me when I was like all together and like perfect, and like you're never going to be perfect. So people will judge you if you look like $1 million, and people will judge you if you look like a bum. It doesn't matter. So just be okay with it and be the best that you can be. That's all I can say. How did you take the decision to become a blogger YouTuber? All started when my son wouldn't sleep. There was nothing in the world that would make him sleep. So I said, let me go on YouTube. Like, I don't know, let me watch something. So I came across, and I know this is going to sound so cliche, but I did come across a few YouTubers that still are my favorites. Like, if I ever meet them, I will probably lose my you-know-what. I came across Jaclyn Hill, I came across Desi Perkins, and I came across Katie Luster Lux. And they're all so freaking gorgeous. And their tutorials were just so fun and different from each other's. And I just started watching them, and I got this like rush. I was like, this is so cool. Like, people do that? That's so cool. I had no idea. I had no idea that people had, makeup tutorials on YouTube. No clue. So I started watching them, enjoyed them so much. And I was like, let me try to do this look. Like, I don't know if I can do it, because people spent, I spent my whole life having people put makeup on me, not me putting makeup on me. So I didn't know if I could do it. So I just started practicing every day. Like, I was just, while my son would play on the floor, and I would be on the floor, like, putting some makeup on. And that's how it went. And it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I started to I became so passionate about it. And then I realized that I was going through my old computer. I realized that I had done so many of my friends' makeup, and it kind of like did a full circle again in my head. I was like, wow, maybe this is what I am meant to do. Like, I'm home. I don't have to leave home. I don't have to leave my son. I can do things while he goes to sleep or he takes a nap or whatever. And I can just do this here. So that's how it started. Audrey asked, how do I deal with breakouts, and if I get acne marks, and how do I deal with those? Yes, I get a lot of breakouts. They're mostly hormonal breakouts though. After you have a child, kind of everything changes in your body. But for myself, I realized that certain foods trigger my breakouts. What I do is I do a lot of masks. I love the Mario Badescu drying treatment. I will try to put a picture right here. It really does help dry out that pimple, especially before it even like gets to be like super nasty kind of pimple. So that helps. And also I do a lot of like brightening masks, not just because my skin needs a little glow, but also it helps with those marks. So I like the Glam Glow brightening masks. I know it's pretty expensive, but it's a really good one. And I have a few on my skincare video. I will link my skincare video down below because I do talk a lot about that stuff there. So a little bit more in depth if you want to check it out. She also asked, how do you stay gorgeous and don't really have any dark circles? Girl, I have dark circles. It's not even like a matter of sleep sometimes. It's also what you eat and the amount of water that you ingest and all that good stuff. I use a lot of full coverage concealers. MAC Pro Longwear is an amazing concealer for me. Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer is a great concealer. It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye, amazing concealer. Benefit Boing Concealer, awesome full coverage concealer. Love that one too. Dark circles are just something that you have to just roll with the punches. A few recommendations from Maybelline or L'Oreal. So from Maybelline, I love their Fit Me foundations are amazing. Either the matte and poreless or the dewy and smooth, amazing foundations. The Fit Me concealers, amazing concealers. Maybelline has awesome lipsticks. They have a million shades and they are very affordable. L'Oreal, I love the L'Oreal Lumi foundation. Either the liquid or the one in the cushion that just came out not that long ago. Love those. The voluminous mascara from L'Oreal, such a staple. I think that's all that pops up on my head right now, but I will link that video from my drugstore favorites because I have a few from both brands on that video as well. So I will link that down below and you can check it out. So Belly Binks asked, what advice do you have for anyone feeling lost or going through a difficult time in their life? Ooh, that's a deep one. It's tough because I feel lost a lot of the time. Not to get too deep or too sad, but I did have a lot of losses in my family in the past, I want to say 3.5 years. So for all of this time it has been tough. It has changed, not only having a child changed how I see things and how I look at life, but these losses, they were tremendous losses and they really did change who I am. The person I was before all of this happened is done, gone, like that doesn't exist anymore. For me, a big part of it was that I was holding on to that person. I wanted to be happy the way I was before, and I wanted to be like skinny the way I was before, and I wanted to have a job again like the way I had before, and it was a lot of change and all of it at once. I wanted to be able to, you know, call the people that I have lost and talk to them and ask for advice, or, you know, it was a lot. It's still a lot for me to process. So I think that was a big part of it for me. It was just letting go of who I was and accepting that even if everything was shitty right now, it was still my life and I had to, you know, I have to live. Because the alternative is not very appealing to me. So even if I was sad, if I woke up sad, then so be it. Like today I'm sad. You know, if my days were terrible and if I had 5 minutes of happiness, then that was more than nothing. So I just had to really, I still have to really push myself because I'm not gonna lie, being a stay-at-home mom will drive you crazy at times. And because a lot of the time it's just me and my son, and you know, I miss having my friends. I miss having an adult conversation. My son talks all day long and we talk all day long, but I miss having that connection with other people. I miss just going to a dinner and having a social life sometimes. And it's tough because obviously I don't regret anything, but that is kind of what brings you a little bit of sanity. Like when you have your friends around and when you go out and you're active and you're social, it kind of makes you forget about your problems a little. So when you don't have that anymore, you're very focused on your problems. So it's tough. So my advice would just be, don't give up. You know, life is hard and life is shitty sometimes. And it's going to happen, you know, to all of us, unfortunately. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it just happens. Like everybody has problems and everybody goes through a tough time. So don't give up because you're still here and you have to live your life. So don't give up. What do you prefer, Urban Decay or Too Faced? Urban Decay or Too Faced? Oh my god, I love them both. I have a few favorites from all of, you know, from each individual brand, but they are awesome brands. I love, from Too Faced, I love the Born This Way foundation. It's one of my favorite foundations. Too Faced also has awesome eyeshadows. I have a few palettes and they are really good. I love their lipsticks. I love their blushes. From Urban Decay, what do I love? I love their Naked Concealer. Love that. It took me a minute, but I do love it now. They have amazing eyeshadows. They really do. They are extremely great quality. They are pricey, but they're amazing. It's hard. I can't pick one. What inspired you to become a blogger, and what would you recommend to someone who would want to start a blog? So I kind of answered part of the question, what inspired me to be a blogger, but my advice would be just do it. I know that that's kind of like a broad answer, but really just do it. When I wanted to start this, I started taking pictures with my phone. I have an iPhone, still have an iPhone. I would do my makeup. I would take pictures with my iPhone in front of my window. You know, look for natural light, which is the best. It translates best. Don't be afraid. So, you know, work with what you have. Don't be afraid. When I wanted to start making videos, I couldn't afford a camera. And one of my friends, she said, hey, I have a video camera at home. Do you want to use it? I was like, yeah. You know, it wasn't like a great quality HD camera like everybody else had. Like now I have a great camera, but that wasn't the case when I started. But it was a camera and it got the job done. My computer was an old computer. Like I'm saying 10 years old. And I would edit it as much as I could. It wasn't great. You know, if you go back and see my first videos, they were okay videos. My first ever video, I didn't talk because I was afraid that people were going to make fun of my accent. So that was mistake number one. You know, don't be afraid. Be who you are. Like if you're gonna start a channel, that's your channel. Who is it to say what's right or wrong? So it's your channel, your rules. But make sure that you are consistent. You know, like start by doing a video a week. Set a goal for yourself. Don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Don't get hung up in like numbers, followers, likes, all that stuff. You know, like I have a bunch of followers on Instagram, and if you see the number of likes on my pictures, it's kind of like ridiculous. But it is what it is. You know, like people don't really want to commit to that. They want to see what you're doing, but they don't want to commit to that like or that comment or that. They don't want to interact with you. That's what I'm trying to say. So don't be discouraged. Don't feel like, but no one's gonna care. They'll care. If you care, they will care. Commit 100%. If it's like a post or a video, it doesn't matter. Whenever I post something, I have 110% commitment to that post. I take time taking pictures. I take time editing my videos. I take time writing my description, and don't expect other people to notice you. Do it because you want to do it. Do it because you wake up in the morning and you can't even breathe until you do a video or until you do a post or whatever it is that you like. Do it because you want to do it, not to impress anybody or not for other people to care. Do it for you, and that will truly bring you happiness. So Karen asks, how hard was it for you to move to the USA? And do you rather use lipstick or mascara? Actually, I think I can do without mascara. I went through a phase a while ago that I would leave my eyes like naked and just do a bold lipstick, and I like it. So I would say lipstick. And how hard was it for me to move to the USA? It was hard. I was afraid. I didn't speak any English. I didn't have a lot of money. I literally came with about $200 in my pocket. My family, you know, my mom was very supportive of me. She truly was the person who pushed me to my limits my whole entire life. And I really, truly, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for her. So she encouraged me a lot. She knew, she was, I mean, now that I'm a mom, I just imagine like I would be freaking out the whole time. And every time I called her, she was all like super calm and cool, like, oh, hi, so how's New York? How you doing? I'm sure that inside she was like, but because I would be if my son was in a different country, you know? So it was hard, but she encouraged me a lot. So I had a lot of, you know, a lot of her support, and that made me feel very confident, even if I wasn't confident myself. So it was hard, but I am truly happy that I came and I stayed because it has changed my life for the better, I think. And I'm very, very happy and blessed to still be here after all of these years. Yes. What is the most helpful advice you have learned for makeup? To just really do whatever you want. Obviously there's like guidelines and whatnot, and you can watch a million tutorials, and a lot of people will do certain things the same way, but no one's gonna ever be the same. Obviously you like develop your own style of makeup with time, but just do whatever you want. Like, don't get caught up on these like rules or whatever. Like, there's no rules. I think that was the best advice that I have learned for makeup. Is there any technique that changed the way you're doing your makeup now? Yes, that's a great question. When you're a model, you're not really allowed to like just sit there and they put makeup on you when you're off to the set, and you have to do what other people, you know, kind of like tell you to do. And a lot of times I would have my makeup done and my hair done, and I would just hate it. I was like, oh, this looks terrible today. But I wasn't allowed to say anything because, you know, I was getting paid to model, not to like criticize anyone's work or express my personal preferences when it comes to makeup or hair. So that really, once you get to that set, you kind of like not yourself anymore. You're just like a canvas. So now it really has changed the way I see myself, because there are things that people used to do before, and I was like, I don't like that. You know, I like my nose to be contoured this way, or I like to wear highlight in a certain way, or I like this kind of eyeshadows, or why not? So I like to fill in my brows this way, and it really has changed a lot. So it has really gave me this opportunity to like look at myself, and for once in my life to just be like, what do you like? How do you want to look like today? You know, like, what do you like to look like? Do you know what I mean? So that was a good question. So I have a few snaps out that I'm gonna open. Smoky eye with a bold lip, and she said nothing better than arrive from school and watch your videos. Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks, Karen. Oh.
What, in your opinion, is the hardest part about being a parent? And also, what is the best part about being a parent? Have a good night.
Being a parent is hard. It's definitely the hardest thing I have ever had to do in my life. Hardest part for me is being a parent without a parent. Not to get too deep again over here. So my mom passed away almost 4 years ago. So I think to me that's really the hardest part, is not having a parent that you can kind of like run to and ask for advice and just kind of like check in and be like, hey, am I messing everything up? And I think the hardest part is like not knowing if you're doing it right. You know, like we love our kids and we do our best, and obviously we're doing it right. But that's the hardest part for me. It's just like always doubting myself. And now I've gotten better because, you know, you kind of like get your groove on as time goes by and as your kids grow up and you watch them turn into like little people. And now my son can make full on like sentences like, mommy, I want this, or like, I don't like that, or especially that one, the no, I don't like this and I don't like that. He knows very well. But it gets easier. So I think it's just in the beginning, it's just not knowing if you're doing it right. Somehow at the end of the day, you're so exhausted and you're literally like, I gave him my all, and you still don't know if you did the right thing or not. Like that is just the most contradicting thing ever. Like you're physically and mentally exhausted. So you know for a fact that you gave your all, but still in the back of your head, there's that voice that always says like, but am I doing this right? You know, so I think that's the hardest part. Now, the best part about being a parent, I think it's just being a parent. My son really, I say that he's like my everyday gift. And he is. I don't know where I would be in life right now if he wasn't here. So I think he is just the best part of being a parent. Like he's the best. He makes my life better and more chaotic and crazy, but he makes my life better. So I think that's the best part. I was a little afraid of doing this video because I didn't know that people would actually ask me anything, and you guys asked me a lot of questions, and they were great questions. So I hope that I answered them accordingly. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and thank you again for all the support and the love and the connection that you guys show all the time. I really truly appreciate that. It makes my day when you leave me a comment or you sent me a snap or whatever. It really truly makes my day. It puts a smile on my face. I appreciate what you guys have to say. I want to hear what you have to say. So don't ever feel like you can't tell me if something that you see you don't like it. Like don't ever feel afraid of that. You know, I love constructive criticism. Like I think it just makes us grow. So don't ever be afraid to speak your mind and express your feelings and your opinions. I want this channel to be a kind of like escape for all of us, because it is for me. I hope that I inspire you because you inspired me. So thank you for requesting this video. Really, thank you. It has pushed me outside of my comfort zone a little bit, and I like that. So again, I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I will link things and videos and everything that's helpful in my description box down below. And as always, if you like this video, if you found it helpful, and if you learned something new, please give me a thumbs up. It really, really helps my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.